Breaking news, I am officially going to the 2026 NFL Draft. I will be there in person, and Quinn is coming with me, right? You're coming with me, right? 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 He's not because he's a big poopy meaty pants. But welcome to the DQ Frenzy, where we got chill vibes and cold takes. I'm Dylan, along with, of course, my co-host Quinn. Apologies for the non-episode last week. I was too busy doing some wrestling podcasts because it was WrestleMania week. So check that out if you did it. The live stream from night 1 and night 2, and then the predictions. Check that out. But we are back because yes, it is draft week, the most exciting time of the NFL offseason. But before we get into that, because Quinn and I got some NFC teams must needs to go over because we went over AFC last time, and we will do a combined mock draft. But we got some news that's been happening the past couple days. The DQ Frenzy News. The Bengals did something. Who would have thought?
Wow.
Dexter Lawrence, specifically, Sexy Dexy himself, who was kind of going to be on the trade block. He didn't participate or didn't plan on participating on Giants training camp. He wanted out. And it is official. They have traded their star to the Cincinnati Bengals. And that changes the complexion of the draft because they now get the number 10 overall pick that the Bengals had in this Thursday draft. And the Bengals secured Lawrence with the $28 million extension with 1 year. So now the Giants have two top 10 picks with the number 5 and number 10 overall pick. And the Bengals, finally, they get a star pass rusher after getting rid of a star pass rusher. But at least they're trying something. A lot of fans, I think, are calling this kind of a win-win, especially for the Giants, who get two top 10 picks in the middle of their rebuild, while Cincy gets something to add to their defense, even though the secondary still got issues. But Quinn, how do you think this trade worked out for both teams?
I mean, it is very unfortunate for the Giants because, you don't really want to lose Dexter Lawrence. Is a great player. I'm happy about it. But kind of funny to see the Bengals go from a older pass rusher in Trey Hendrickson to a younger guy in Dexter Lawrence. I can see it, but it feels a little. I guess they could pay him less, even if it's not a whole lot less. It's still less. So, I think it's good they reloaded on the defensive front there with a star player. They definitely needed to. Definitely need to fix their defense, especially just to keep Joe Burrow happy and in Cincinnati. But yeah, I think it was a good move for him. Not as much for the Giants, but the Giants had to move him because he, wanted out.
I think I really like this for the Giants. I know it's a shame to lose a guy like it, but they still got Burns. They still got some good players on the defensive side.
That's true.
There's
nice pick.
There's some really good linebackers in this year's draft, which we'll get to, and also pass rushers. And just to get two top 10 picks is kind of rare. So I feel like they could take advantage of that. And for Cincy, obviously I like the move for them. They needed someone desperately bad with Hendrickson being gone. I just don't know though if that's going to change much. I don't know if it's going to completely change. Like, oh, now they're going to be from a terrible defense to like a mid defense. I don't think it's going to be that. Maybe the pass rush will at least be better. The run defense certainly has to be. But the secondary still concerns me. Their pass defense was still one of the worst in the league. And we'll see in the draft what they do. But until then, good move for both teams. Good. But for some reason, I just like it for the Giants even more with that return. On to selfishly talking about both our teams in the news, because we have to. Started with my team and the Aaron Rodgers saga for the third year in a row for my team. We keep falling for this crap every single year. They're still awaiting a decision. Apparently, Omar Khan and the ownership don't expect to hear anything before the draft and are planning to, in practice and training camp, have Will Howard be the QB1 heading into it. They hope for a quick resolution, but it's Aaron Rodgers. That never happens. Patrick Queen of the Steelers basically called it a 50-50 toss-up. They requested a decision by the start of the draft, but because Aaron Rodgers has an ego, he thinks he can do what he wants. He don't want to do that. I am just disappointed that we're falling for this again. I understand he was an upgrade over what we've had before him, but he's also in his 40s. He is not the future. He has a ceiling, and I think we saw it this season. He's not going to beat the elite of the league and get us on a playoff win streak that Steelers fans desperately want. They need to move on. I just think they need to give him an ultimatum. And I don't care if Rodgers takes that personally because of he has family problems or stuff going on and how dare us disrespect him in his time. That doesn't matter, dude. Everybody else in the league but you makes their decisions. You're one of the only players in the league that takes forever to make up your mind. Tom Brady didn't even take that long. He retired pretty quickly after the season, along with most other star players. You just, for some reason, want to take forever because of your weird ayahuasca trips and whatever. So, I'm not that interested in him again. For a quick preview of our mock draft, I don't want to get Ty Simpson, but I don't know what the future holds. If Will Howard's the guy, if I've heard rumors of should we call Derek Carr up since he wants to apparently come back? I don't know, but I'm not interested in Rodgers. It was a good season. I'm happy for him that he got a little bit of redemption after the disaster with the Jets, but I'd prefer it just to be a one and done. And I'm just tired of the veteran QBs. We have to build for the future. What do you think, though, Quinn?
I think the Steelers have been putting off starting their new future for a while now. I think you just kind of have to bite the bullet. On one hand, it might be good because Mike McCarthy can come in and choose his own guy. I mean, Rodgers is also kind of his guy, but he's also old, and for McCarthy, McCarthy just got this job. He's going to want to keep this job for the foreseeable future. So he's going to have to get his own quarterback that he likes and he thinks can lead the franchise for the future. Rodgers is not going to be the future of the Steelers here. So I think there's a good chance he could go with the future and start moving towards that. I think that's the best outcome. But I could see Rodgers coming back. But I don't know. I feel like it's maybe less likely than more likely.
Yeah, the longer time passes, it is less likely, but especially come draft time. Who knows? Maybe he'll come on stage in the draft and announce his retirement or announce his return and try to get a big ovation. First, because he likes the spotlight. I hope not. On to Quinn's team. Quinn, I know you don't want to hear this. I know you think this is BS, but this is an Adam Schefter report. And if we know anything about Adam Schefter, he is always right. Just ask Tom Brady. He is reporting that A.J. Brown is likely to become a New England Patriot, but not until after June 1st because of a salary cap play, because a trade before would have hit them with a $40 million dead cap charge. By waiting, they could split that hit over the next 2 seasons. Brown's had a long relationship with the Patriots and Mike Vrabel, which he's got his own stuff going on, but it seemed like it was like Philly or New England or nothing for A.J. Brown. And me and you were kind of in denial, especially you, just because this was kind of the same rumors the past few years and it meant to work itself out. But to be fair, it was the case with Nick Foles in Philly. He won a Super Bowl and then left. Doug Peterson won a Super Bowl with Philly, then left. So just because they win a Super Bowl, I guess it doesn't mean they're going to be a Eagle or whatever team for life. So things could change. I wouldn't be surprised if Howie tried to convince him to stay between that period. But it seems like it's going to happen. But it's just crazy that it's the smart move, but they're waiting. But I'm done talking because I need to hear this from you. What are your thoughts?
So there's a few different sections of information going around my head about this. I'll say first of all, it wouldn't like overall it wouldn't surprise me. It makes sense for Howie if they get a good offer for AJ Brown to trade him, considering he hasn't been the best player, especially with like the playoff game last year. That was pretty bad. Like it seems like he wasn't even trying, and then reading on the sidelines and just the is he being a diva or isn't he? I don't know. He's acting like he's not, but then all of a sudden you get the reports. So
Reading my wallet.
I it's like I don't know, but like there's no way we're getting rid of him before the league new year on June 1st and eating a $40 million cap hit. No, there is no way. Like Howie's not stupid. He's not doing that. Um, but yeah, I think is it definitely realistic that Howie gets a good trade offer for him and takes it? Yeah. I'm still not entirely convinced because I mean, this week is also the point of which you'll see a whole bunch of news about everything going on, and you can't believe any of it. I also think it's interesting that Schefter used the term likely. It's also weird that Diana
Mm,
Russini, that whole thing was going on. What, he's still going to go to the Patriots? I don't know what's going to happen. I talked about this at work with my boss and coworker, and they just both kind of laughed when I'm like, "Hey, yeah, see that?" And they're like, "Yeah, yeah, he's going somewhere."
yeah.
So there's still people who are like, "No, he's not going," and I really don't know what to think because, like, at that point, I'm like, "Yeah, like, oh yeah, another report, he's leaving, great." But then I listened to another Eagles YouTuber, Thomas Mott, great show, but he's like, "Yeah, he's accepted that he's leaving, that Brown is leaving," and I really don't know. I could see a world where Brown leaves, and I could see a world where he doesn't leave. Um, and it doesn't help that it comes out this week that he's likely to leave. Because again, like I said, this is the week of like, let me just make up some stuff to change the draft stock so I can do this. Now, the AJ Brown trade wouldn't be for any draft picks this year, obviously, because it's after the draft. Um, from what I heard, we would get like a first rounder in 27 and maybe a second or third in 28. I don't know. But the future picks, we like the future picks. And first round for AJ Brown would be great. Um, but like, there's other news of oh yeah, the Eagle. I think Schefter also reported the Eagles are bound to make some big splash plays for players. They're not done before the draft. So people mention like, oh, if they get rid of Brown, maybe they'll trade for Brian Thomas Jr. or Marvin Harrison, which excuse me, I think would be exciting. Like if we get rid of Brown, I think it'd be great to get Brian Thomas or Marvin Harrison. That'd be really exciting. But we also have pretty good
Brandon
depth in the
Ayuk,
receiving room now.
baby. From one drama receiver to another, Brandon Ayuk.
No thanks. Um, but I mean, we already have a pretty good receiver room. I mean, we had Hollywood Brown. We added um, two other guys, including the most recent addition of Wicks from the
Wicks.
Packers, Montavian Wicks. And so, and then the other guy, I forget his name, pardon me, but I think it was AJ Brown's friend from the Jets or something. I don't know. Anyway, another guy, but we have pretty good depth of position. And then everyone's talking about the Eagles in the draft, and we'll get to that later, but drafting a wide receiver, and I don't know. It's a little suspicious to me, though, that we've added all of these wide receivers. Like Devontae Smith could be a number one, absolutely. Does it worry me a little bit because back when he was a number one receiver when he first came out of college, he did well, but not as well as you'd like. So part of me is a little worried there, but he has a lot more experience now, and I think he'll be fine. That's a little worrisome. And I mean, AJ Brown got a lot of double teams. Um, Devontae Smith does too occasionally. Well, I actually don't know the percentage, but I know he definitely gets double teams and he does get open too. So, but I don't know. I really don't know if he's actually going to be traded or not.
We'll have to wait. We'll have to wait
Just
till
have to wait.
June. At
Yeah,
least
and then who
NFL will
knows
get
when
some
in
big
June.
news. Yeah,
Yeah,
at least we'll get some news June 2nd, because usually that's the boring time of the year of the NFL. You touched on it, Quinn, very shortly, and this will be our last news topic. I think this kind of happened when we recorded a couple weeks ago, but we were busy posting other topics and kind of don't like too much talking about this type of drama, but it's been so heavily reported, so have to talk about the Vrabel and Diana Russini situation. It was a couple weeks ago, I believe, like the 7th of April or something, where Page Six published photos of Mike Vrabel and NFL Insider, well now former Diana Russini in Arizona at some resort there. They were like there were like a few photos and it was just the two of them. I think they said they were hanging out with other people. They just weren't there when they took the pictures of them like hugging, holding
Holding
hands.
hands.
And when the Athletic asked for evidence of a group trip photos, they couldn't provide it, right? Because they didn't take pictures besides that. And Rossini resigned from the Athletic, but Mike Vrabel still keeps his job. And that's the huge debate is like, oh, well, she left. It was her decision, but she left. Why isn't he? And then you knew that was going to be the huge thing talked about. But yeah, I'm kind of in two ends of this of like paparazzi are scum. I just can't stand any of this crap when they do this and get paid to do it. I mean, it's been a case in not just like NFL and sports, but like Hollywood for years, just how they follow people and take these pictures unwarranted and they get to legally somehow and not get in trouble for it. And stuff like this happens. With that being said, with both of them being married, this is not a good look. I don't want to speculate what I think's happening. I don't want to go into that, but the pictures are not a good look for what's going on. I think that holding hands specifically is kind of like not a great look. I don't know if friends, I mean, who knows? People show love and friendship in all types of ways, but I don't know if holding hands is one of those ways. And yeah, I don't know how to feel. I mean, I don't know what the NFL could possibly do to Vrabel based off of relationship stuff. Look at the players like Tyreek Hill and I mean Antonio Brown kind of got punched for other legal reasons, but plenty of players that have family related issues and they're fine. They're not getting suspended for anything or punished. And I think Rossini's like had some like interviews defending herself since that still don't have her. It's still not a good look. I completely get why people would be like, oh, well, she has to leave, but he doesn't. It's kind of maybe just the sick world we're in, where I guess more famous people and coaches get away with it and she doesn't. But that's all I got. I really don't have an opinion on like who I like tell them like, oh, go screw yourselves for cheating or whatever. Like I can't speculate on that. We don't know. But Quinn, what are your thoughts on this?
So there's a lot of buzz around this whole article because of the Eagles and Diana Russini reporting constantly that AJ Brown's unhappy in Philly. AJ Brown wants out. AJ Brown to the Patriots. All that. So there's a lot of buzz Eagles community about this. I'll say too, it looks like the photos were taken by like a private investigator. So people were speculating, is this someone in the NFL trying to be like, oh look, Rossini's in bed with Mike Vrabel. The pictures were at, from my understanding, like a honeymooners resort, like a romantic getaway kind of place, which is also kind of
Hmm.
weird. Like, why are Mike Vrabel and Diana Rossini and group of friends at a romantic
Yeah.
resort? Kind of weird. Um, so some people were speculating private investigator hired by the NFL. Some other speculation was it was Rossini's husband that hired the private investigator to take pictures of them, these two, at the resort or something.
Oh boy.
I mean, it's dramatic, although it doesn't sound too unrealistic. I don't know. Again, this is speculation, but the pictures did look pretty nice. They weren't just like an iPhone camera. They looked like they had some.
Oh, you could see. You could see what was happening.
Yeah. So I think it's interesting, and I mean, like, yeah, people are talking about, oh, Rossini's always pushing AJ Brown to the Eagles, trying to maybe lower his trade price for the Patriots going over. I don't know what actually. I don't know if he was actually trying to um, do that. Although it is suspicious seeing all the stuff she pushes about AJ Brown. She seemed to be one of the like top sources of AJ Brown this, AJ Brown that. So I don't know. I don't know if we will know because she resigned, and will this be investigated further? Probably not. I don't know, but
But do you have any
yeah, I have a
thoughts on
feeling.
the oh she gets to leave, but he's all good?
I mean, my mom, when I mentioned this, when this all came out, she was like, "Oh yeah, the woman always leaves, but the guy keeps their
Oh
job."
yeah, mine did too. Mine did too.
Yeah, so maybe it's just that kind of thing, to put it vaguely. But yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I don't know. I couldn't see an NFL coach quitting his job because there's photos of him with a reporter. I mean, it looks bad, but I feel like they're just in the Super Bowl. He's not gonna resign because of that. I don't know. I think it's weird, but it's kind of a weird situation to begin with. Um,
I just wondered the Vrabel side and his wife, and I think he has kids too, about that because I
yeah,
guess from speculation that her husband that maybe something was up, so he hired someone to see what was up. But with Vrabel's point, like what's in it for him if this is the case? So I don't know. I'd like to tread lightly on that stuff. I don't like to accuse or judge too harshly, but yeah, it made headlines. Had to acknowledge it, but enough of that drama. It's draft week. It's fun week. So we will first go over the NFC teams' needs. And obviously, I believe, Quinn, you're going to do the East as one of them because of your Eagles.
the Birds. Yeah.
And yeah, so Quinn will do the NFC East, and I'll let you do the NFC North too, since the Packers are another one of your teams. And I will do the NFC South and West. So I'm going to start with you, Quinn. I might as well start with the NFC East. Take it away.
Um, I will quick mention jumping back. I forgot to say this, but Rossini's husband is a senior manager for the popular burger chain Shake Shack. He's a Pennsylvania native, um, raised in New
Hey,
York, but he holds a
shout
bachelor
out. It's a
degree
good
from
place.
Penn State. Penn State. So that's fun. Anyway,
Patriots and
yes. So
controversy. When have we heard of that?
yeah, I never heard of that before. But yeah, anyway, getting to the fun stuff, the NFL draft. I'll start with the Eagles, of course. Eagles won the NFC East last year. The main positions that we need are going to be safety because Blankenship left, and our only other safety is going to be a guy in his second year, Andrew Mukuba. So unless we trade for somebody, we're going to need to draft somebody because currently we just have second stringers and third stringers. One of the guys was pretty good, but he's not. We signed him back, but he's not quite starter material. So safety would be great. I don't know if we're going to draft that early. This draft is also a great time to trade up because there's not a lot of like top five players. It kind of is like
Mm-hmm.
not like blue chip, but like one tier under. A bunch of the like draft first round full of those. So it's kind of like teams aren't as eager being high up because they don't have that blue chip prospect as much, or as many of them. So you can trade up easier here. So Eagles might trade up. We also could use an edge rusher, starting edge. Jalen Phillips left. He got paid a lot of money for a guy who got injured a lot. So I appreciate him, but we're not paying him that much. There's rumors about trading for guys like Jonathan Grenard with the Vikings, but we'll see. Um, and then, of course, the Eagles' offensive line, our center, or sorry, Landon Dickerson was thinking about retiring after some nasty injuries in the past 2 years. This offseason, he didn't retire. Lane Johnson also didn't retire, staying around for another year at least each. But we definitely need to have guys for the replacements. Stoutland's gone, so we'll see what that all looks like. But drafting replacement tackles would be great. We need a tight end for the future. People are talking about trading up and getting the guy from Oregon, but was the Shadiq, I believe, is his name. But we'll see. Also, random news that I just remembered, Trent Williams got a 2-year extension with the 49ers. Because we're talking about tackles, Lane Johnson. He got $50 million for 2 years, which is kind of a lot for a guy who's 38. He'll be 40 by the end of it. But and for a guy who's hurt a lot. Also, Brandon Aubrey on the Cowboys are near to a record-setting $28 million kicker deal for 4 years. Anyway, sorry, just figure I mentioned that.
Stop taking my
Eagles,
job.
safety, edge, and tackles. Since we're talking about the Cowboys just now, the Cowboys need a defense. That's what they need.
Really?
They got some pass rushers, but they could use more. So I definitely grab
Well,
another
they
pass
had
rusher.
one.
Yeah, they had one, not anymore. Cornerback, they need some cornerback depth. Safety as well would be great. But yeah, they had the league's worst defense last season by EPA per play, explosive plays allowed, and points per drive. It was rough. Cowboys just all defense. That's all they do. Hopefully they don't do that so we can laugh at them and they're bad again. But anyway, now the Commanders. The Commanders could use a lot of defensive help. I think safety is probably one of the primary picks they can make or should make at least. I mean, with their position in the draft, they could. And so they have the number 7 pick. So they could trade back. Like I said, you can easily trade in and out of the top rounds. They could really use another tackle as well. But yeah, especially and if they trade back, they can get some good talent later on. A wide receiver wouldn't hurt them at all. Yeah, Commanders probably safety is their top pick. And finally, the New York Giants. They need a guard. They're actually not in too bad a shape right now, which is kind of interesting. But they definitely need a guard, right guard. Cornerback 2 slot needs some help. Linebacker, maybe a running back if they're in the right spot. I mean, they could take Jeremiah Love rather than not. But they have a lot of picks now, so who knows what they'll do. But linebacker, linebacker, maybe running back, maybe wide receiver as well to complement Malik Neighbors.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense, especially with Neighbors' injury issues. I'm going to go from the East, and we're going to go all the way to the West, and one of the more competitive divisions in the league last year. I'll start with the Cardinals because that's kind of the easiest one. They need an edge rusher. I believe they were the 30th ranked pass rush defense in all football. To be honest, I would put Arizona kind of in the tier of like Miami, where it's just like they can literally draft anybody, and I think they'll be okay with it because they need anything right now. But with the number 3 overall pick, they need and will probably get a really good edge rusher. Bailey with Texas Tech was a big one. Maybe Bain from Miami if they like him better. I've been hearing chirping about the Chiefs really wanting a pass rusher and really wanting to trade up for it. Please don't do that. Please do not give the Chiefs more ammunition. Cardinals, be smart. But that one to me is probably the easiest. On to the Rams. Probably for me, I know this might be a little early to say this, but one of my Super Bowl favorites for this year, especially with Stafford coming back. I think this might be a little bit of a bold take because they have good receivers, but Devontae Adams isn't getting any younger. I think there was rumors too that they might trade him, which is crazy after a year, but you never know. So Puka's going to need a running mate. And plus the Rams are a pretty complete team. They got McDuffie. They got their defensive struggles. So why not just add more depth to receivers? Because yeah, they got Puka, Devontae, but then outside of that, the lack of depth kind of costed them in those playoff games. The Niners, I know they re-signed Williams, but he is in his late 30s. They need to find his successor somehow in guard. They need to find something. I kind of like Ohio State's Donovan Jackson. Ohio State usually is a pretty good farm system for guards. And he's a really athletic guard too, which the Niners could really use, especially with injury concerns. They just need depth, period, because it was a disaster to watch, not just last year, but just the past few years, the Niners. You know what they need most in the draft more than a player? A new facility. That's what they need. They need to draft a new facility. Don't draft Pittsburgh's because it's terrible. The Seahawks, the Super Bowl champs. Um, it's tough because I could see them drafting maybe like a guard because they lost Bradford. They lost a lot of people in the draft. Running backs, there's not a lot on the table. Love's definitely going to be taken way beforehand, and there's not a lot of good ones. So they might just be banking on Charbonnet to come back. But I would maybe try to go maybe for a more of a hybrid type of defender, maybe like a linebacker. I would say that is Mike Macdonald's specialty. He builds up guys like that, maybe like a Perkins Jr. from LSU. He could he's a jack of all trades. He can rush, he could drop into coverage. He's a really good spy guy. I feel like that'd be a perfect fit for Seattle, personally.
All right. So next up is the North. So Bears were at the top of the division last year, exactly. So we'll start with the Bears. And the Bears, well, I mean, I bet you can guess what I'm going to say. Their top need is edge rusher or defensive tackle. Defensive line. Whoa, crazy. They need it. Safety would also be definitely a good pick. A lot of safety in this draft, actually, but it's a pretty deep safety draft as well, so that helps them out. They could also use a second cornerback. That would help them out a good bit as well, but all defense for the Bears. They have a lot of wide receivers, so they don't really need that. I could see them taking a running back maybe at some point, but more of a luxury pick. The Packers. Packers are less interesting because they don't have a number one draft pick for this year or next year because Micah Parsons. That's why. So not as interesting. They definitely need a little bit of help on the D line. Austin's line as well could use help. They could definitely use another corner because Valentine has tackling issues. So another cornerback for depth would be great. But yeah, everything's going to be later on, so it's not as interesting. Vikings. Vikings also need defensive line. They waived Javon Hargrave and Jonathan Allen for cap relief, and Grenard linebackers on the trade block. So they definitely need some help there. They don't need more offensive, exciting stuff, so it's just going to be defense pretty much. Defensive line, what they need. And then finally, the Lions finished last in division last year, 9-8, tied with the Vikings technically, but fourth in division. Kind of crazy. But yeah, they need offensive linemen. They need help there. They need to protect Goff and maybe slide Sewell around. I don't know. They could also use another edge rusher. Secondary edge rusher would be great. Compliment Hutchinson. And a cornerback as well is really kind of a big need of theirs. Well, not huge, but definitely can use it. But yeah, a lot of cornerback and safeties in this draft for these two divisions. But yeah.
Defense wins championships, guys. But on to the NFC South. I'm going to start with the Atlanta Falcons, a team that we always keep thinking will be better than they actually are. Dear Lord, they need a receiver. They need a receiver so bad. Who do they have besides Drake London? What, Dotson? Zacchaeus? I'm sorry, no. I know you like your boy Dotson for some reason, but he is not a receiver too. They need to find someone else. And I think later in the draft, number 48 was where they're picking, I think is where you start to see a little bit of more of those. I think Marsh from Michigan had a really good season last year. I feel like they could use them. They might need some defensive depth as well, maybe, but I think receiver might be the most important need right now. The Panthers, they need to protect Bryce Young. He was running for his life a lot, despite how better he got this season. They just need to protect their supposed golden goose if they think he's the golden goose or not. Gilliam from Oklahoma, he dude's a big boy, so I feel like Bryce Young would love a guy like that. Maybe, hopefully, Bryce can see over him with how big that guy is. Short joke. But yeah, he's like one of those tough, gritty linebackers that I feel like they could really use that. The Saints, a team that, despite their record, I feel like played pretty well last year. Maybe found their guy in Chuck. I feel like Chris Olave needs a little bit of a running mate. I really do. Well, for one, he's a little injury prone, and for two, again, the depth is just killer there. They got their running back, so they don't need to worry about that. So again, I feel like trying to find a receiver would help. And then let's go to Tampa Bay to end it off. And they could go, I mean, defense in general, they could use. I feel like corner they might need the most, though, out of anybody, especially depth piece wise. I feel like they kind of need more of a lockdown one because they really struggled last year. Kind of thinking of a Wallace Coleman from Georgia, I think, could fit well. He played in that tough SEC conference in Georgia and locked down a lot of elite receivers. So, and he's also known for his like press defense, like his man-to-man. Georgia's known for that. And so is Todd Bowles, who is still here for some reason. So it would be a good fit for them. But just defense in general, Tampa desperately needs that. But it is time to do our mock draft. Hit the predictions intro, because that's technically...
You stink! Absolutely terrible, man! You're so stupid, it hurts!
And time to hit the intro. And we will only be doing round one because we are not going to do all rounds, or we will be here all night. Time to share my screen, pull up PFF,
And no trades.
Let's do this. Yep, no trades, nothing happening. Chiefs aren't going to snag someone. Sorry, guys. All right. So, time to start the draft. So, the Las Vegas Raiders are going to draft Jeremiah. No, they're drafting Mendoza. If they don't draft Mendoza, I will go nuts. We've been saying this since December, and a Kirk Cousins signing's not changing that.
Yeah, it's gonna be Fernando Mendoza.
If only he'd be there in person, because I can't see him in person because his family. Oh well. But yes, we will have the Raiders take Mendoza. The Jets. This one I feel like I feel like it's kind of consensus too. I've been looking at a couple of mock drafts. I think Mel Kiper had another edge rusher that wasn't Reese that could have possibly went there. Maybe like a Bailey or a Bain possibly. But I think the Jets could use Reese. There's no quarterbacks or receivers right now that are like top worthy, which they need the most. So I think Reese is kind of the clear pick. He was so good last year for Ohio State. Such a stud. I feel like he'd be a perfect fit for the Jets.
Yeah, Reuben Bain has been falling because of he similar to Jalen Carter, he had a racing kind of incident thing. So
yeah.
He's been falling. There's talk of it. Well, anyway. So I don't think he's gonna go this high. So yeah, I think Reese is the second pick here as well.
And if we're wrong, well, we're sorry. Oh, the Cardinals. There's plenty of live rushers they could go with, but because of Bain falling, I think Bailey is what they're gonna go more for. A dude that doesn't get in trouble.
Because they're not going to take a quarterback at this point. I think they should at some point in the draft, but not here. I could see them taking a tackle as well, potentially. But I think...
Yeah, but tackles really... Yeah, they kind of come later in the first round this year.
Yeah. And it's not like they're desperately needing it. So I think of all the players, I think David Bailey. I could see maybe Sonny Styles. Because, I mean...
He might be the best overall defender in the draft outside of Reese, Sonny, but...
Because, I mean, I don't know how much the Cardinals draft, like, the best overall player versus their needs. I think they have a pretty fair outlook either way they go. But I know that a lot of Ohio State players are mocked early. So I'm fine with either Sonny Styles or David Bailey.
Well, I'm going David Bailey because I'm in charge of this. The Titans... for some reason, I was hearing rumors that they don't want Love anymore, that he's going to slide. I think they'd be ridiculous not to pick Love. They desperately need a running back like him. They have to get him.
Yeah. Even just take some pressure off of Cam Ward, I think it'd be good. I mean, would a tackle be better? Yes. But Jeremiah Love is a very good prospect, so I think they're taking Love here.
Yeah, they'd be hard remiss to draft him. This is interesting because, again, the Giants have 2 top 10 picks. I mean, because they have the 10th pick, I could see them waiting to take a receiver until then, like a Tate or a Lemon. So, yeah, they could be leaning more towards a Styles, I could see that, to add to their defense, especially with Lawrence being gone. I feel like that just might add more to, like, we need pass rushers, let's get Styles.
Yeah, I think it's either going to be Styles or Caleb Downs here. But I think, yeah, Styles is rated higher.
Get used to the words Ohio State in this top 10, as annoying as it is to hear that, because they got themselves a defense and some receivers too.
Well, not anymore.
I'm going to go with Styles. The Browns, man, I feel like Tate's the pick here for them. They got nothing at receiver, man. Like, Jerry Jeudy is, like, only good when he's with Jameis Winston. But Jameis ain't there anymore. And I feel like if Deshaun Watson's coming back, which I think he is, he needs something. Their defense is fine. Their offense is what needs help the most. So I think passing up on Tate would be pretty bad if the Browns did that.
Yeah, they're not taking quarterback here, no matter what PFF says. But yeah, and then looking at, I mean, I think if there's a higher tackle, I could see them taking that, but I think they're going to probably take the wide receiver of Tate.
I mean, maybe Malagoa. That'd be the only other guy I'd maybe see them getting. But I'm going to go with Tate. Yeah. Clear consensus best receiver of the draft. This one's interesting because the Commanders might have begged for Love to fall to them, but he hasn't. So... this one's a little more interesting on what can they do. Would they reach for a guy like Lemon? Will they lean more defense? I don't know. I'm gonna get your opinion first, Quinn, on who you think they'll get.
I mean, at this point in the draft, I feel like the best available player is going to be Caleb Downs. They need help on their defense because their defense is kind of old. Their defense was terrible last year, so I think they kind of have to go defense here because Jeremiah Love is gone. I could see them taking receiver, but I think they're going to wait a little longer. You can get good receivers in the second round, so I feel like it's going to be Downs, maybe Ruben Bain, but I don't know if they're going to spring for him with his issues.
Yeah, I feel like Bain would be a stretch because of his issues. I feel like Lemon would be a bit of a stretch, so I would agree. The Giants would be devastated because I feel like they would really want him at 10. But sorry, Giants, but there's plenty of other safeties available, so we'll go with Downs. The Saints. Yeah. Man, this one. The Saints. This one I'm back and forth on too. Just because, But I did say they needed the most help at receiver, so I could see them going for Lemon. And given... I
like Lemon.
I just think he might fit.
Yeah, Jordan Tyson, number 19, has been flying up draft boards.
I know!
Like a solo workout. Yeah. So, I don't know if he goes this early.
With the workout.
Yeah. So, yeah, like 20 teams? Crazy. But yeah, I think it's going to wide receiver here is probably Malachi Lemon, but don't be surprised if it ends up being Jordan Tyson in the draft.
We'll go Lemon just because of the projection, but
Yeah.
it's close. Chiefs, you're not supposed to be up here. Boy, is this weird. I think they go Bane. I bet they try to trade up to get someone, maybe. I feel like Sonny Styles is calling their name. I feel like they want to trade up to get him, but hopefully no one will be stupid and fall for that. So I think they get Bane here. They get a rusher.
Yeah, I agree. I think
theirs are
they
getting
take the
old.
risk with Bane. Yeah. And Bane, I don't think Bane scares them with his issues.
Yeah, we know the Chiefs don't care about players and personal issues. So I think Bane will be just fine to share a locker room with Rashee Rice.
Funny enough, if he does go at 9, the Eagles took Jalen Carter at 9 before. Both guys fall down in 9th pick. Crazy. Anyway, the Giants.
Giants, I'd say Thieneman, the safety. I feel like they could really use safety help pretty badly. And he's definitely the best one available and one of the only ones available in the first round. So I think he'd be a fit for them.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind tackle, but they need guard more than tackle. So I think Dylan is fine from Oregon.
And speaking of tackle, I think that's what Miami is going to do. I think they're going to get Malagoa to protect their newly signed quarterback. I just think it makes sense. I mean, Miami? I think they're exactly. It fits. It's his home college. And plus two, Miami is one of those teams where I feel like they could just use anything. They could draft anybody and they'll be okay with it. But I think Malagoa to Miami just makes sense.
Yeah, it's the rebuild. I'm good with that.
On to the Cowboys. Well, anything defense, I would probably have to go with... I could see either Delane or McCoy, to be honest. Would probably be my two favorites. I'm back and forth too if who would be better, Delane or McCoy, as like a pick for them. I'd maybe just because of the ranking and because of the competition, Delane played a little bit tougher competition than McCoy did. But it'd be a coin flip, but a cornerback because they need it.
Yeah, I'm good with Delane.
LSU, baby. The Rams, first round pick? Excuse me? Okay.
That's not allowed.
Now I did say they need a receiver, but maybe a guy like Allen from Georgia maybe would be a good fit too because defense was more of their weakness. But Tyson would be a pretty good fit for them too. So I'm kind of back and forth between those two, to be honest. Maybe a tackle too. Maybe like a Freeling or Fanu if they're worried about protecting Stafford. They could really kind of go. They're kind of one of the more unpredictable picks to me because they could really go anywhere.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like they're less likely to take a wide receiver because Puka Nacua is very talented. Mental capacity concerns, absolutely.
Yeah.
Monte Adams is there too. I don't remember how long his deal is for. Maybe another year. So I do kind of like the tackle because that's going to be solidifying O-line. Stafford isn't getting any younger, so protecting your quarterback is important. Eventually, when they get a new guy, having a good line would be great. But yeah, I don't mind the Allen pick either.
I think for me, I'm going to lean more tackle. I think I'm going to lean towards a Fanu or a Freeling, kind of a coin flip. Maybe because of the SEC competition, I'll go Freeling to there. But basically, I think looking at it, they'll probably just try to protect Stafford. But this is where I think Jordan Tyson will probably most likely end up. I think he's a Raven. They can't just have Zay Flowers out there and be it. Lamar needs help. I think Tyson's a good fit for them. Considering how he jumped up draft boards, I think it just makes sense.
Yeah, I agree.
Tampa, I know I said they need a defense, but Sadiq I think would be a pretty good fit for them. So I could see him going either way. I could maybe see them getting maybe an Allen, maybe a Messidor if they really want to reach for that. But Sadiq might be maybe just the best fit in terms of highest ranked player.
Yeah, because I mean, I could see them go with the Penn State guard. I'm not going to try to pronounce his name. My apologies.
He's who I want.
Yeah, and like 16, but it feels a little low for what they're doing. I think Sadiq is the really exciting prospect. I don't know if they're going to pass on him, even if there's like a tackle. They don't really need tackle. I mean, you can kind of do what you want there, but I think Sadiq's the interesting one. They just lost Mike Evans. Their new wide receiver is good. He got hurt. Yeah, so I think Sadiq is a reasonable choice here.
So forget everything I said when I mentioned the NFC South needs, because that went all the crap. Anyway, on to the Jets, who again we had them take Reese, so they got their linebacker.
Yeah, this is the pick from the Sauce Gardner trade.
Yeah, Sauce Gardner. Yeah. That worked out so well for Indy.
Yeah, so yeah, the Jets need about everything because they're the Jets.
Oh yeah.
We forgot. Honestly, I could see them taking tackle or guard. It's not interesting or exciting, but it's a building the trenches kind of pick, and it works well. But I could also see them taking like McCoy because a cornerback is of all of the needs that the Jets have, cornerback is one of the ones that PFF.
I'm gonna go with McCoy. They had no interceptions last year. I just proved right there that they need a corner, so I'm gonna go with McCoy.
I like it.
On to the Lions. I think if Fanu falls a little bit, I feel like it just makes sense.
The spot. Yeah.
Easy and done. On to the Vikings. And they need rushers, like Quinn said, so gonna take your pick from Allen maybe to Messidor. Probably one of those two, maybe Falk from Auburn. He was really good last year as well, but some type of rusher they could really need. Or maybe even McNeil Warren. Nothing wrong with some safety help.
Yeah. I'm kind of inclined to choose Allen here. I mean, Georgia's turned out some pretty good players over the years. Teams know that.
It's Georgia and defense, man. Listen to Quinn and his Eagles. Georgia and defense is good as long as they stay out of legal trouble.
Yeah.
On to the Panthers again. We got Bryce Young his protection pieces, so they don't need a guy like Ione. So this one, maybe, I don't know, man, kind of take your pick, to be honest, on what they need most. Maybe they'll go with the best player in the draft. It's kind of a coin flip on what they need the most.
I mean, they do need defensive line. Edge isn't quite defensive line, but it never hurts to go after the pass rusher. For the guys available, like you said, they don't really need guard. Safety isn't really a big thing. So I think I could see them going best player available for what they need, and that's Messidor.
I think so too, unless they really want to reach and get like McDonald, that's be the best defensive interior. But Messidor took Miami to the championship game for a reason, so I'd go with them. Cowboys again in the Micah Parsons deal. Can they take advantage of this deal? Who knows? But they need defense, period. So they already got a corner. We'll see. Maybe McNeil Ward. Maybe they could use some safety help. Honestly, another kind of take your pick best defensive player available to me for the Cowboys to get.
Yeah, I mean, I could see them going after Falk because, that's kind of appealing for them.
Replace Micah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they take the safety from Toledo. He's good, but I don't know if that would scare them, the Cowboys, of taking a guy from Toledo. I mean, they saw how it worked out for the Eagles, but I don't know if they'd do that.
Yeah, Jerry Jones is scared of the Mac.
Yeah. So I could see them taking the ball.
Them Mac schools.
Yeah, get out of here, North.
Yeah, I'll agree with you. They're going to maybe try to replace Micah Parsons, which they shouldn't have gotten rid of. This one is easy for me. I'm not sure if Ione's going to fall to the Steelers, do not draft Ty Simpson or I will murder all the Rudy family. Take the guard from Penn State. I don't know if he'll fall this far, but in the perfect world, he's the easy consensus pick.
Yeah, I think that's very reasonable.
Penn State Steelers just makes sense.
Yeah.
On to the Chargers. Cooper might be a good fit there. They need receiver depth really badly.
Yeah.
I mean, they could really use... I mean, they need... There's not a lot of guards available. That might be their biggest need, because look at that wild card game and how bad Justin Herbert got beat up. But receiver depth might be the most important, so I feel like Cooper Jr. fits. He made an incredible catch for Indiana to win that championship game, that one-hander. That was highlight reel-worthy stuff. All right, Quinn, your team. They took Cooper away from you, and you need a receiver because A.J. Brown's gone.
To be honest, I think here we need a safety, and I do like Emmanuel McNeil-Warren. I mean, combine him with his old teammate, Quintanamo Bay.
No, the two Toledo guys. You were in love with Georgia, now you're in love with Toledo boy. You know what? We're going to pair up. Let's pair the two Toledo guys.
Why not, right?
Toledo does carry out good defense, too. It's crazy. Cleveland, again, from their trade with the Jags. Again, take your pick. Probably Blake Miller to protect Deshaun Watson, I think, makes the most sense, since we already got them their receiver. I love that it says needs quarterback, but it'd be funny if somehow they drafted Ty Simpson or someone. I would laugh if they're like, we just hate all our quarterbacks in our quarterback room. We need to draft Simpson. But no, I think Miller's just kind of the fit there. They need interior tackles bad.
Yeah.
Proctor, too, I think could be a good pick, too. Him and Miller kind of neck and neck, but I'll go Miller here for this sake. On to the Bears. This just feels like an easy kind of just rusher, like a McDonald. I just feel like easy fit. Ohio State defensive rusher. Just feels like it fits.
Yeah. I mean, otherwise it would be Terrell, cornerback, or Howell, but I think I'm good with McDonald.
Yeah. On to the Bills. Pretty much they need defense. We said that before. They just need any defense. I could see them probably just taking the best guy. Howell, Parker, maybe Terrell, maybe if they want to get more depth on the cornerbacks because they get injured every year. I could see them just flat out taking the best defender, period.
Yeah. Honestly, at this point in the draft, it's kind of like, who is the best left? They don't really need... True. A cornerback probably wouldn't hurt, but...
Yeah, I think probably a Howell would be a bigger need for them, rush-wise, because that was one of their big struggles last year, so... I'll go with him. On to the Niners. I think Proctor's a pretty good pick for them. Kind of the replacement, or just the guy that Williams could mentor. I feel like Proctor's kind of a slam dunk pick for them.
Yeah, I think it's a good pick as well.
On to the Texans, and dear God, they need linemen bad, and I'm not even going to pronounce his last name, but from Arizona State they'd probably be upset. They probably really want Proctor. They probably really want a guy like him, but take the next best guy. CJ needs protection bad.
Yeah.
On to the Chiefs
again.
Chiefs! Oh, gosh.
Cornerback. I mean,
I think Terrell.
Foles. Yeah.
We're kind of having it line up perfectly for them, which is hilarious, because who knows in real life that's actually going to happen. But, yeah, Terrell just seems like the fit. We need McDuffie's got to be replaced. On to Miami.
Waddle picks. I mean,
Yeah,
could they take Denzel Boston to replace
I kind of like Casey
Waddle?
Conception more than Boston. I don't know. I kind
That's
of like
fair.
his talent a little more. He's kind of under the radar a little bit. It's tough.
I'm good with that.
I do think they're gonna go receiver though because of the Waddle trade. They need help. They got. We had them getting linemen. Now we're gonna get them some receiver help. So I'm gonna go Conception here. That's kind of a bold pick. It might be Boston. He might be ranked better, but I think his potential. I like Conception's better. He's been talked about a lot. On to the Patriots. I mean, did you watch the Super Bowl? They need help, but I will say I could see them maybe getting a Banks first, and then maybe getting some tackle help later. As much as they need linemen, I think Banks could probably be a good fit for them.
Yeah, no linemen are quite here yet. You have to drop down like 6 picks in the second round for a tackle. I think Banks is the best bit here because they do need linemen or defensive linemen.
All right, on to the Super Bowl champ Seahawks. No running backs are available. TJ Parker seems like TJ Parker seems like the pick. Oh, look at that! That was perfect timing with the song ending and the draft.
Yeah.
So, please don't copyright us, NFL. But here is our first round mock draft from PFF. And we'll post it too on social media to see how horribly inaccurate we are when Mendoza doesn't get picked first overall.
Can you imagine?
I guess a bonus question for you, Quinn, and for both of us is, where do we think Ty Simpson's going? Because we have him falling. Probably the only team that would probably get him would be the Steelers if it was the first round. Do we think the Steelers still get him? Do we think another team gets him? What do we think about that?
I think it'd be good for the Steelers to get Ty Simpson. I could see the Jets trying to get him as well. I mean, they definitely need a quarterback, but I don't know if they're going to go and be like, you know what? We're just going to put all of our hope in this guy and then see how Fields does from the beginning of the year. I don't know. The Jets are kind of a mystery with what they do. Yeah, I could see Steelers, Jets.
I'd throw Arizona in there. I think it's down to those 3 teams. I think they could use them too. But as much as I don't want it to happen, I think he's going to fall, and I do think we're going to pick him later. I think we're going to pick him probably as our second round pick, most likely. I don't think anyone else is going to take him. I'm not even sure in the 44th pick the Jets on round 2 are going to take him. I think he'll be able to fall enough to where we'll get him. So that's basically what it's down to. I think he's going to be picked in the second round, and it's either the Jets or us. But I think it's probably going to be us. Because I don't know. The Jets are kind of just in full rebuild mode, whereas we are trying to like half-ass rebuild, half like, oh, we're trading for certain guys and we're still trying to compete, so they might just try to lean more quarterback. And it depends on what Rodgers says. If he somehow says anything within the next few days. Because if he does, then it's probably a lock for Simpson going to the Jets. But if not, then he's probably coming here. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
But don't count out the Cardinals. They're a little bit of a sleeper team that could get him.
Yeah, I agree.
On that note, that's going to do it for the DQ Frenzy. Enjoy the draft, everyone. I will be there in person. Quinn, unfortunately, won't. He has to watch from his television. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
If I record anything, I don't know if I'm going to do a full vlog, but I'm at least going to record some special moments, and I will share it with the lovely DQ Frenzy Vibes fans. I guess that's what we'll call our very low fan base. And stay tuned, too, for special short videos, including Quinn's fun games and other just funny shorts. We will continue to post more often. I apologize about last week, but WrestleMania is over, so we'll post more. But that will do it here for Draft Week. Have a good week, everyone, and we will see you back here reacting to the draft next week.
See you guys.